Hello, YouTube. This is LonChaney Reviews, and this is going to be my first video. First off, I'm going to explain my motives on this YouTube channel. I'll be reviewing Lon Chaney movies, obviously, because obviously this Fan of the Opera stand-up suggests I'm reviewing movies with Hugh Jackman, of course. No, I'm kidding. But I'll be also be reviewing Universal horror movies. I'll be reviewing Abbott Costello comedies, and some books, and a few other movies that I did not say already. So, yeah, that's the main focus of this page. And on with my review. Hey YouTube, I'm back. I'm gonna do two reviews, but they're gonna be in two videos. And these two movies both released, on their respective video formats on Tuesday, the 28th. First one I'm gonna review, something I just got today, the King Kong Blu-ray. This is the new Blu-ray for King Kong. This is the back cover area. I'm sorry I'm doing this camera by myself, and I can't really tell if anything is seen well or not. My brother was supposed to, but he's passed out. So, okay. So I'm gonna review King Kong. This is a Blu-ray copy of King Kong. Along with Casablanca, King Kong is the only movie I have on video, DVD, and Blu-ray. Let me just explain a little, the plot of King Kong, basically, for those people who have never seen the film or just a little unsure. It's an interesting film. It's about a motion picture director named Carl Denham, played by Robert Armstrong, who is setting sail for a mysterious island. Is going to shoot his latest motion picture there. So he needs a leading lady for this. So he finds Ann Darrow, who is played by Scream Queen Fay Wray. We also have Bruce Cabot as Jack Driscoll, who is basically our young lover character, who's the first mate of the Venture, which is the boat that they sail on. And then they go to the island. They meet these natives. The natives want to use Anne as their sacrifice. They capture Anne. And then they offer her as a sacrifice to Kong. Now, I have to say, this is one of the best build-ups to an entrance of a character I've ever seen. It's like 40 minutes on into the film. It's like you haven't seen Kong yet. And then when you finally see him, you're like, wow, that's just amazing. He then takes Anne, and then all the sailors and everybody goes after Anne. Then they gas Kong. He passes out, and then they take him to New York to exhibit him as a Broadway attraction. Which, ironically, in 2013, if all goes well, they're going to make a King Kong Broadway musical. I don't know. I'm gonna see it anyway, just out of curiosity, but whatever. But yeah, so King Kong escapes from his chrome steel chains, more like plastic. But yeah, he escapes, he goes after Anne, and there's a lot of disturbing sequences throughout, like, the last third of this movie, I would like to say. And then Kong goes on the Empire State Building and makes his great last stand and dies. And it was beauty that killed the beast. Certain scenes I really want to talk about. Obviously there's the T-Rex scene. The T-Rex fight is a very impressive stop-motion fight. It's a fight that took 7 weeks to shoot, because of all the frames that are involved with stop motion and that kind of stuff. It's a very well choreographed fight. There's a lot of Willis O'Brien's, interests in the fight, because he was a boxer, and he had some sucker punches in there. And Kong's like so violent and brutal against the T-Rex, he snaps the jaw open, and then he plays with the jaw as if he's like a little kid. Oh, you're playing with the jaw. It's like he just killed the thing and he's playing with the jaw. There's something very interesting about that. It's very curious. Another scene I like to talk about is the log scene. The log scene is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's just because I think Kong looks his best. Like, his armature looks the best in that scene. His face looks good. Like, when I think of Kong, I think of Kong shaking people off the log. So, and then also, that's just a great stop motion scene. It's really, really enjoyable, really thrilling. Anyway, also what I would like to say is that I like when Kong destroys the village, there's a lot of disturbing scenes. Like, he puts villagers in his mouth. He nearly kills a baby. What else does he do? He throws people over the place and stuff like that. That's just that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because there's so much going on, so much chaos, so much hysteria, and Kong's just breaking loose. It's just really cool. Another scene I like to talk about is the cities, and that's why I'd say the last third of the movie is very disturbing. Because you get scenes like putting the people in his mouth, stomping people. Also in the city, this most terrifying scene in the movie, in my opinion, is when Kong climbs a building and he sees this girl in there, and he grabs her. He notices that she's not Anne, and he drops her to her death. That always scared me when I was like 7 or 8 years old when I first saw that movie. I was like, oh my god, I still get a little disturbed by that. And now in the Peter Jackson version, they make fun of that because he picks up several of them. He's like, I'm a pimp, he just picks them up randomly. Of course, there's the Empire State Building death, which is a very famous scene. And actually, for the 50th anniversary of Kong, the Empire State Building had a giant balloon Kong on the Empire State Building. You can Google images and it was real. They had that on there. It also makes me wonder what they're going to do for the 100th anniversary of Kong, considering it's one of the most influential and famous films of all time. What else would I like to say? Let me just see how much time I have left. Oh, I went. Okay, no, I still have a lot of time. But yeah, some people behind this film showed Stack and Cooper. They wanted to do a movie with a regular gorilla versus Komodo dragons, but they couldn't do that. So when Cooper saw Willis O'Brien, who did the amazing, groundbreaking special effects for this movie, Cooper saw Willis O'Brien's work from creation, which only a few minutes of footage survived today, which is on the Kong DVD or Blu-ray. But only a few minutes of footage survived, but it's just... But he knew that Willis O'Brien was the guy to go for. And a lot of people consider O'Brien to be the great-grandfather of stop motion. He did the special effects for Lost World, which are very revolutionary at the time of its release. Willis O'Brien is an unsung hero in Hollywood. He inspired so many people to go into the film business, like Peter Jackson, Ray Harryhausen, a lot of people. But sadly, he's not really always given his due. Actually, David O. Selznick, the executive producer, actually wanted to honor them at the Academy Award ceremony by giving them an honorary Oscar, but they never did that. So, yeah. But he did win an Oscar in 1950 for Mighty Joe Young, which had Robert Armstrong, a gorilla, and involved Cooper. How ironic. But what I really want to talk about also is the musical score. The musical score for this film is... Sorry, 1 second. I do apologize for doing this. I wouldn't be doing this if I had a camera person, but that's just... Right now, my hand is the only camera person I have. But anyway, the musical score for this is written by Max Steiner. Max Steiner did such films as Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, etc., etc., etc. He's considered the father of film composing. He said that Kong was a very easy film to score, and he said this because there was a lot he could do with it. It was very sometimes playful, you know, vivid and stuff like that. I have to say, you really did need that powerful musical score for Kong, because Kong is a very visual film. And it's like if you have the best silent film, I don't care if you have the best silent film, without a great score to go with it, your film means nothing, pretty much. But anyway, I also want to talk about the cast. You have Fay Wray as and Darrow, these, you know, Scream Queen. Again, I apologize for this, folks. Also, I'd like to talk about Robert Armstrong. His character of Carl Denham, I think, is one of the greatest screen performances of all time. His character is actually based off of Marion C. Cooper, you know, obviously creator of Kong, and ironically enough, they died 16 hours between each other, the same day. If that doesn't get any creepier, I don't know what does. Or if that isn't if there's something creepier, I don't know what is, you know. Also, now I'd like to talk about my personal impressions of Kong. This movie inspired me to get into movies. Without this, I probably wouldn't even be doing this channel right now. I mean, this is the reason why I love movies, and it's always been one of my beloved favorites. I mean, it's like my fourth or fifth favorite film of all time. The special effects are amazing. The story is very unusual, because think about it this way, you don't really have too many stories like Kong. I mean, it's a Beauty and the Beast story, but for everything else about Kong, it's pretty original. It's one of the few, or it's like, they said it perfectly. This film could not have been done on the stage back in 1933. And then this is a purely film media type of movie. But yeah, so overall, I really recommend this movie if you're a huge fan of film or whatever. Also, I'd like to say that this edition has a nice Blu-ray book inside. If you can see the pages in there, you know, it's kind of cool. Has some information about Kong and stuff. It's got some neat bonus features, like a 7-part documentary of King Kong called RKO Production 601. And there's also a DVD edition which has some these same bonus features too. But overall, this movie is one of my favorite movies. I really recommend it. Thank you for watching.